So here is, this is a tough one. I regret getting married to my wife. This is someone who is obviously frustrated beyond the point of inner reconciliation. They're having a tough time. They feel that they're disappointed and they're filled with regret. Now, what precedes regret is expectation. And this is one of the killers of marriage. By the way, I'm Paul Friedman. I founded the Marriage Foundation. We've been doing this for over 22 years. Our experience is what we talk about in these videos, not theory, not Western psychological. I'll be honest with you, it's weird stuff. Western psychology has no place in a marriage. Marriage is all about love. It's all about giving. It's all about learning to love unconditionally. It's all about happiness. That's why we all get married. And here, this man is so regretful that he married his wife. Why? He didn't open a box one day and there was his wife and they went down to the justice of the peace and got married, and now he's going, oh my God, I had no idea. No, he dated her, he met her, courted her, they had a good time, they were in love, he found his soulmate. Think about this. Before, he was so excited about marrying her that he couldn't take it. He probably even wept as they were exchanging vows. And what's happened? And this is really a great question to ask. What happened that I would regret marrying my wife? Because I can tell you, I used to be a divorce mediator before I got into saving marriages. And now when I look back and I think about all the people who I helped get a divorce, not one couple that I helped get a divorce should have. But we don't know how to be married in this world. We're not taught. We're not given an instruction manual. When we go to get a license, all we need is $40. We don't need to explain, oh, I understand what marriage is. It's easier to get a wedding license, a marriage license, than it is to get a driver's license. How crazy is that? Why? Because no one really knows about marriage. We do now, because I wasn't really exposed to Western psychology. Western psychologists, and I love them, by the way, they're good people, but they were my friends who sent me business when I was doing divorce mediation. They don't know anything about marriage, though. They have the same rate of divorce as virtually everyone else, a little higher, actually, if you look at the statistics. Here's the problem. There's reasons why we get married. And if you regret marrying your wife, or your husband for that matter, it's because you have allowed your mundane, your ego, let's call it, to get in the way of your heart. You see, it's very easy to see the flaws in another person, especially when we're living with them. We see all of their flaws. When we're dating and courting, getting to know each other, we're so focused on their positive attributes that we overlook their flaws. And it's intentional because they're there and we can see them, even the ones that are just hidden beneath the surface. But we realize, wow, I love this person so much. So, what's the answer? The answer is that you start doing what you were doing before. You don't look at their flaws. You don't care about their flaws. You understand they have flaws and you have flaws. You stop arguing with them. You stop pointing out what they're doing wrong. Instead, you shift your whole consciousness into making them the object of your love. You learn how to love them. And when you see the flaw, you shrug it off. Who cares? They're not out there killing people. No, it's your ego that wants everything perfect, even though you're not perfect, that is getting in the way of your common sense, your understanding that you've married the perfect person. There's another way to look at this, by the way. This is kind of a spiritual way. And that is part of our individual evolution is seeing our flaws, our own flaws. In fact, I've been on a spiritual path for 55 years. So this is common in all spiritual paths, whether it's Catholic or Buddhist or Hindu or Muslim, it doesn't matter. There's this process, there's practice called dispassionate introspection. It's usually reserved for those who have taken a life of celibacy. They don't have a wife or a husband. And so what happens is they, every morning or every night, they use a period of time, not for meditation, but to take a look at their behavior and their thoughts of the day. Now, when you're married, you don't have to do that because they're reflecting them real quick. They may say something to you about how you've been behaving that they don't like. So you got to get a little humble, and you got to accept the fact that being with them is a spiritual path too, and that they are going to reflect your flaws. And that's what is your business. Their flaws is none of your business. They have to work on their own flaws. Your job as an individual human being is to work on only you. If you're disappointed in another person, it's on you. That is your fault, and that is a flaw. You're only allowed to work on yourself. I'm not speaking from this high and mighty perch. You think that the same thing doesn't happen to me in my marriage? You think that I don't have periods when my stomach goes, "Urgh." But right away, because I've learned how to be married, I stop that thinking. I don't allow myself to go there, and I ask myself, okay, what are you going to do about this flaw that now you see within yourself, this oversensitivity or whatever it might be, you see? And that's what it's all about. If I'm going to be harsh here, if you regret marrying your wife, you're being petty. You're being a spoiled brat, immature, and not facing the reality that you have to fix you. And that's an important thing. And that's not what marriage is all about. But it's a small part of it. What marriage is all about is happiness. Until you clear your mind of all this debris of judgment, you can't be happy because your mind is always going to get pulled into that trash bag. And then when you clear your mind of all that stuff, and it takes practice. And in fact, we have a course for men, we have a course for women. The first thing we get into is this technique that is unique to us called the SO technique, where you're focused on doing this introspection in a very practical way. You get a tool and all that, and you start cleansing your mind. And you start seeing how messed up you are. But it isn't you, it's your mind. We won't get into that in this video. And then what happens is then you could start infusing love, infusing joy, and that's when your marriage starts becoming the reason why you got married in the first place. So we have a lot to offer. You should go to our website. You should probably subscribe to this channel. You should definitely like this video. And you should not give up. You should strive for the happiness that is your birthright. I'm Paul Friedman. I founded the Marriage Foundation. God bless you and take care. Thanks.